to Just the News. I'm Amita Balachandra. Let's get straight to our top story. There are updates on the Karnataka Hijab controversy amid heated protests by several students, and this has been going on really for the last 1 month, a little more than a month actually, in the state of Karnataka. It spread to several parts of Karnataka, everywhere close to Udupi. Udupi, in fact, is where it started first. As a counter protest, a group of students again marched to their college wearing saffron scarves. And this is a report by NDTV which says that videos from Kundapur in the district of Udupi shows boys and girls donning the scarves over their college uniforms and raising slogans of Jai Shri Ram while going to college. Now, earlier videos from the coastal town of Kundapur had showed students in the government's junior college in headscarves arguing with their principal after they were denied entry into the campus. There have been several such incidents in the state of Karnataka in the last 1 week itself. Meanwhile, this is what the Karnataka government says. Now, this is their stand as of today. Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai and Primary and Secondary Education Minister B.V. Nagesh held a meeting with the Advocate General today to discuss the state's stand to be presented before the High Court. The first incident that really took place towards the end of December happened in Udupi, where one of the girls has now approached the Karnataka High Court, and that matter is going to be heard on the 8th of February. Now, B.V. Nagesh has said, and I quote, as the matter is before the court, the Chief Minister today held a meeting with the legal department and the primary and secondary education departments. He has advised us to inform the government stand to the court after getting the Advocate General's opinion. Legal department informed the meeting as to what the law and rules say. Karnataka Home Minister earlier had told reporters that children should neither wear the hijab nor saffron scarves in school. In the meantime, Congress has come out in support of the students who are protesting in the state of Karnataka. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi said that letting students hijab come in the way of their education is like, and I quote, robbing the future of the daughters of India. He went on to say, and he took to Twitter to say this. He said, and I quote, Ma Saraswati gives knowledge to all. She does not differentiate, end quote. Yesterday, Congress leader Shashi Tharoor had also tweeted in support of the girls who were denied entry for wearing hijabs. He tweeted, and I quote, if the hijab is disallowed, what about the Sikh turban? The Hindu's forehead mark, the Christian's crucifix. This college is going down a slippery slope. Let the girls in, let them study, let them decide, end quote. In fact, former Chief Minister of Karnataka, Siddhamaya, had also said, and I quote, Muslim girls have been wearing headscarves since the beginning. It is their fundamental right. Let's now take a look at COVID news. In the country, India has reported 1.27 lakh new COVID cases and 1,059 deaths in the last 24 hours. The daily positivity rate is currently at 7.98%. Delhi has reported 1,604 new COVID cases. Mumbai is showing a dip in the number of COVID cases, and that has been the trend, interestingly, in the last couple of days. So that's good news because in the last 24 hours, Mumbai has reported 643 new COVID cases. Bengaluru has reported 4,532 new COVID cases, while Karnataka's share is at 12,000 odd cases in the last 24 hours. And Kerala has followed a list of other states who are now easing COVID restrictions. Classes in colleges and higher secondary will reopen from the 7th of February in Kerala. Classes 1 to 9 will be functional from the 14th of February. Similarly, all the places of worship will be open for devotees from next week onwards. Meanwhile, Karnataka has eased further COVID restrictions like cinema halls, multiplexes, auditoriums will now be permitted to function with 100% capacity. The same applies for gyms, yoga centers, and swimming pools as well. In the meantime, only those administered with both the doses of COVID-19 vaccine will be allowed entry at these places. Also, the news, according to PTI, the center has placed a purchase order with Biological E for 5 crore doses of COVID vaccine, Corbevax, each costing 145 rupees, excluding taxes. Now, the government is yet to decide on which segment of beneficiaries this new vaccine would be administered. Corbevax is administered through an intramuscular route with two doses scheduled 28 days apart. PTI, in fact, has quoted sources and has said discussions are now underway, technical groups and in the Health Ministry's immunization division about expanding the scope of the precaution doses. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court today directed state governments not to reject COVID death claims on technical grounds and gave 10 days time to them to pay compensation from the time such an application is made from a bereaved family. Now, monitoring the COVID ex gratia rollout across the country, the bench of justices observed, and I quote, in some states, deaths are lower while claims are high. It can't be that these claims are false. This means that official statistics is not true. Now they will have to redo the official figures after this exercise, end quote. Now the bench has also, which has been monitoring the implementation, has said that 50,000 rupees will be given to all families which lost their near and dear ones because of the pandemic, and also expressed displeasure over the delay in the part of some of the states in reaching out to the families. Meanwhile, Russia has reported a record daily number of COVID 19 cases on Saturday as Omicron coronavirus variant continued to spread. Now, new daily cases have jumped 1.77 lakh from 1.68 lakh a day earlier. It has also reported 714 deaths in the last 24 hours. Also, in the news, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has said that the state government will convene a special assembly session to pass another bill to exempt the state from the NEET exam and send it to the governor of the state. Now, there has been some controversy over this bill because the Tamil Nadu's governor had earlier, if you remember, said that the bill is against the interest of students, especially in rural and economically poor students. Now, in a press statement, the chief minister later said that the governor's reasons for returning the bill against NEET are not acceptable for the people of Tamil Nadu. Also, there were tremors felt in Jammu and Kashmir, Delhi, and nearby cities this morning after a magnitude 5.7 earthquake with its epicenter in Afghanistan. Tajikistan border region was reported. The National Center for Seismology tweeted that the earthquake of magnitude 5.7 occurred at 9:45 a.m. Now, there are no reports, however, of property damage, injuries, or deaths. On to environment news right now, and this is coming out of the city of Mumbai. A report by Hindustan Times has said that to develop railway lines between Borivali to Virar, the Mumbai Railway Vikas Corporation has sought permission from the State Forest Department to divert 12.7 hectares of mangrove forests across Mumbai, Thane, and Dahanu. Now, the officials have said that the 26-kilometer long broad gauge railway line is expected to help decongest trains. Now, this is what environmentalists say. They say that they're not opposed to this project because they say that railway projects are important and that it must be executed, but the plan to transplant mangroves, which are now going to be cut off, and compensatory afforestation, that plan must be made public because they say in the past that has not happened and that has been a disappointment. Also, the news, Dutch-owned trawler FV Margaris, the world's second biggest fishing vessel, has shed more than 1 lakh dead fish into the Atlantic Ocean of France. Now, France's maritime minister called the images of the dead fish, which formed a floating carpet of carcasses spotted by environmental campaigners, and called it shocking, and has asked the National Fishing Surveillance Authority to launch an investigation. Now, this was caused by an oil spill that occurred on Thursday from a vessel due to rupture. News from across the globe right now. Our focus remains on the Ukraine crisis. Taiwan has now condemned the timing of China and Russia's partnership at the start of the Winter Olympics, saying the Chinese government was bringing shame to the spirit of the Games. Now, China and Russia, at a meeting of their leaders hours before the Olympics finally opened, um, backed each other over standoffs in Ukraine and Taiwan with a promise to collaborate more against the West. Also, the International Federation of Journalists said that at least 318 media outlets have shut down in Afghanistan after the Taliban seized control of the country in August 2021. Now, IFJ went on to say that, and I quote, the crisis has hit newspapers the hardest, with just 20 out of the 114 continuing to publish, end quote. 51 TV stations, 132 radio stations, and 49 online media outlets have now ceased operations. On to sports news right now. According to the Organizing Committee of Olympics in Beijing, 45 new COVID cases have been detected among Olympic Games related personnel on the 4th of February, up from 21 a day earlier. Now, of the total infections, 26 were among new airport arrivals, including 20 athletes or team officials. One piece of good news before we wrap things up here on this bulletin: a toll free helpline to assist senior citizens has been launched by the Union Territory Advisor Dharampal in Chandigarh, and that's happened today. It's called Elder Line 14567, and it will operate from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. throughout the week. It will also address grievances and queries of the elderly about government schemes and programs. That brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for watching. Have a happy weekend. Good night.